of our radar analysis. So if you try to go out and see it, chances are it's going to be very hard to do so. A lot of lightning ongoing where we're talking about the potential for that rotation. And again, this is a tornado warning that goes in effect until 10:45 a.m. That will bring us to the next about 45 minutes here. And whatever happens from there, we will see what happens. But as for now, we are seeing this area of circulation cross the Mississippi River. This is now becoming more of a Tennessee story rather than an Arkansas story. And it is very close to neighborhoods like Millington, Munford. It looks like the track will take it, Patrick, right in between those two neighborhoods. Yeah. But we, again, have to watch for any kind of wobbles very closely with this. Yeah, this is going to be a really close shave for it. Now, I will say this is, if you're in Millington, if you live north of Navy Road, I'd say you need to be in a safe place, okay? If you're south of Navy Road, I'd say you'd be okay. Like down here towards Lucy, getting out here to where these apartments are right off of 385 this morning, you know, I think that you are going to miss this barely, but it's going to be a close shave. I will say if you are north of Navy Road, you need to be in a safe place. Up here along Wilkinsville Road, north of the Waffle House, north of the Hampton Inn up here, just north of the radar. And again, we are getting this at a very, very low level. So again, this is where that storm is currently located at, crossing over into far southwestern portions of Tipton County. I know that this is a very rural portion of this the world, but you know, this is going to move into some population centers here soon. Dixonville, Wilkinsville. And again, like I said, Wilkinsville Road would be involved with that. You see Shelby Road right here. Here's Navy Road. Wilkinsville Road takes you back up to the north. New severe thunderstorm warning looks like it just came out for portions of Shelby County. Or is that a new one that I'm looking at?
I think that's all of Shelby.
It's going for, looks like, yes, all of Shelby. Let me zoom out here.
All right.
Yeah, that includes the city of Memphis. Downtown Memphis is in the severe thunderstorm warning. And again, this is separate from that area of rotation we have been tracking.
All right, so let's reset really quickly and kind of give everybody kind of a heads up of where we are right now, because we just got a new severe thunderstorm warning that is going to include much of Shelby County. Now, again, the tornado warned portion is the far northern portion of the county. But where we see some strong winds, get ready with that.
Storm track?
Yeah, you take the storm track. Campbell, get one of the cameras on the M Bridge and that camera over from downtown. Get those ready for me, because I'm going to call for them pretty quickly. Because we've got some strong winds that are now about to move into the metro area here very shortly. Let's look at the velocity again, which way the winds are blowing. This straight line winds, okay, this would be winds that are blowing directly at you. They can put down trees pretty quickly. That will be a larger swath of people. Okay, let's take the bridge camera and let's see what we can look at. Okay, I see y'all moving the downtown camera. That's to look at the M Bridge. On the M Bridge, you're looking back towards the west. You're looking back towards Arkansas. Now let's take the downtown high five camera. And that is ominous, to say the least. Okay, so that is the strong winds. That is the shelf cloud in association with the severe storm that is about to move into Shelby County. If you're in North Haven, Fraser, Millington, be prepared for this storm. And then the other part of the storm, the tornado warned portion of the storm, I want to circle back to that very quickly. And then, Riley, I'm going to come back to you with the severe thunderstorm warning. So let's go back up here to the north again. The severe thunderstorm warning is currently in effect, but you have the tornado warning that kind of supersedes that up here that is straddling the Shelby and Tipton County line. It does look a little broader. I say that, and then it kind of gets a little tighter as it's moving right down the line there. There's Shelby Road right here. Again, Wilkinsville Road runs right in through here, north of Millington. You see up here, north of the radar site, so that's like Veterans Parkway right here, and then the county line. So again, if you're right along the county line, safe place now, interior room, away from windows, lowest floor of your home. Let me zoom back down towards the south. If this holds together, I mean, this is going to go right down. It seems like it's going due east almost.
Yes, and that's what we have on the storm track. If we could pull up the storm track real quick before we get that new radar scan. We have two areas we want to watch in this, and I do want to just kind of show you the differences between what's going on in areas like downtown Memphis and up towards where we're concerned about that potential rotation. Now, I'm going to circle in on here on our Barron link link system. This is that circle right there. That is where we are looking at the rotation. You see downtown Memphis is all the way down south, but we can see some of those greens along that line farther to the south that indicate some strong straight line winds embedded with this. And we are talking about the timing, taking it to areas like Millington around 10:13. That gives us around 10 minutes from now. Downtown Memphis and I-40, that's on the southern edge of where we're seeing the strongest winds right now, the severe warning criteria. So if you are north of I-40, that's where I expect to see the potential. We could have some very strong winds that reach severe limits into your neighborhood. But once again, where that rotation is, it's really right on top of that Shelby County and Tipton County line up there. So if we zoom in just a little bit closer to that location, I just want to kind of bring up a couple of those roadways, and that's the new radar scan. We're still seeing the same little bit of rotation there. But if we're in areas like Wilkinsonville Road, Walker Road, Simmons Road, Mudville Road, these are areas just to the north of Millington we're talking about that have this rotation very close by, and we're going to be watching the trends very closely. But we have the reds and the greens intertwined. Anytime you see that, that is where there's the potential for rotation that will try to spin up a tornado, Patrick. So what are you seeing from this?
Yeah, you know, I was just looking at that, how close that's going to be to the airport, the base this morning. I mean, it's maybe like 2 or 3 miles to the north if it's going down that Tipton County line. All right, let's go back over here and look at the broader perspective across the county now. And again, this would be the north side of the county that's underneath the severe thunderstorm warning. So it does include downtown, midtown Memphis, Berkeley, Binghamton, East Memphis, Bartlett. This does include Lakeland. The tornado warning includes Arlington and Bolton, also up towards Rosemark, and then into southern Tipton County. We've got Hagee's Corner, you got Atoka and Munford, and it almost comes, I think it's almost out to Mason, almost out to Mason on that tornado warning. But needless to say, again, you've got 2 sections of the storm, one that's wrapped up trying to spin a tornado down up along the Tipton and Shelby County line. This portion right here could be just rough enough with the strong winds that's now moving into North Haven here very shortly. So we'll zoom in a little bit closer. There's Fraser, Shelby Forest. So it's coming through the Shelby Forest area this morning. And so again, North Haven, Benjystown, and out towards Fraser. Go ahead and treat this as if it is a tornado warning, because again, you've got a storm that's not terribly far away that is tornado warned, but this is going to be straight line winds. It's about to cross over 51 here very shortly between Fraser and Millington, straight line winds, and that would take it out towards Egypt and Raleigh here shortly. So I'm giving a heads up: Fraser, Raleigh, Egypt, and eventually, if that holds together, Bartlett, and then eventually, if it continues on that same trek, Lakeland and Cordova. For the straight line wind portion of this. The severe thunderstorm with the possibility of a tornado would be right along the Tipton and Shelby County line. It's going to be hard to see this because it's so close to the radar site now. And let me switch this over to velocity mode. So this is, again, the which way the winds are blowing mode here. And again, if there's going to be a tornado, it'll be right here between Dixonville and Cuba. This area here is technically Millington. Okay, has a Millington address. So if you have a Millington address, you live north of Navy Road, I want you to be in a safe place, okay? Let's see if there's any debris associated with that. And that's going to be contaminated just because it's so close. All right, so can't really tell from that perspective if we got something in lofted up. I would have to go over there and mess with it and go up a tilt to be able to see it. But it does look like that most definitely. You know, we're looking at the potential still there for a spin-up tornado. Again, right along the Tipton and Shelby County line, safe place now. Again, from Dixonville to Cuba, Millington, over to Kerrville, Mudville, and then over towards Atoka and Munford.
And again, the lowest level of your home, most interior rooms. Basement's ideal, but if you've got an interior closet, bathroom, just away from exterior walls and windows, best place to be at this time if you are under that tornado warning. Southern Tipton, northern Shelby. And Amani just told me I-40, Hollywood at I-40, correct, Amani? That is a camera that we are, if you guys in the back can take a look at that, it's showing a very ominous dark sky, but I want to just bring up Barron while you guys are at that. just to show our system here, our first alert precision tracker. And if we take it full, we can see that area of rotation that we've been watching. But the main thing here is the storm track. It's moving generally to the east at 25 miles per hour. And this is taking us all the way down through around I-40, just north side of downtown Memphis, all the way up into Tipton County. This new storm tracks here, Millington, this is around 10:07 a.m. This is about right on top of you now. That rotation looks like it's just passing just to the north of Millington, but we're still dealing with the really gust of strong winds that's about to move through the neighborhood of Millington. It's crossing Route 51 right now, and as we head, the strong winds even extend down a little bit farther south of Millington, areas like Bartlett, downtown Memphis. This is the southern end of the strongest part of the storm, but again, that's about moving through downtown Memphis right now, really the strongest part of the winds that you are going to see. If we zoom in once again on this area of rotation, looks a little bit more broad than the last time that we talked here, but again, it is passing right through areas, just the area between Millington and Munford is where that area of rotation we are watching very closely. It's getting very close, like Patrick mentioned, to the radar sites, and
switch over
that
to
makes it a little bit more difficult to track that rotation.
So switch over to shear rate. I want to see it because maybe we can decontaminate it a little bit and kind of get an idea of where that's going to be. Take links full. And from there, I want to show where that's located at. Again, you can kind of see just north of Wilkinsville, but I will say that may be, that's a different cell.
That's separate, yes.
Yeah, it's a separate cell. Zoom out a little bit, Riley, because again, we're seeing not only that, go even further out. Look at that strong batch of wind that's about to move into Covington.
Yes.
So I wouldn't be surprised if we get a severe for northern Tipton here shortly for strong winds that's about to move across 51.
Yeah, because we have...
Okay, take the TDOT camera at Hollywood, I-40 in Hollywood. That's looking westbound, so that's looking out towards Fraser. And again, that's a ominous look. That's the severe thunderstorm that is about to move in North Haven, Benjystown, and Fraser. Go ahead and treat this like you're about to get a tornado, or a brief spin-up tornado. It will be a brief burst of wind, more than likely, and then it will calm down, but the rain's going to come down behind it with that. That's a live look, and let's go to downtown now. Thanks, Campbell. That's a look at it from downtown's perspective. And again, you can see that surging wind potential with the kind of the striations there. You see kind of like in the upper portion of your screen, like just above the M bridge, there's like a little bulge in the clouds. That's where the strongest winds are blowing out right now. So that little bulge of the clouds is giving us an indication that there's some strong winds at least above our heads that can then quickly be translated down to the surface. You've got to look on links again with those storms up in northern Tipton that are not warned right now.
Exactly, and this is some of our most impressive radar estimates in terms of wind speeds right now. If we take Barron Link's graphic system full here, we can just see the radar estimated winds right now. Neighborhoods like Covington, neighborhoods like Ripley, you are not under any kind of warning right now, but we're seeing some borderline warning winds that are starting to move through the area. Covington, this is about right on your doorstep. About a 55-mile-per-hour wind has been estimated by radar. Ripley upwards of 57 miles per hour. So generally, we're going to go with the timing of around, we'll say 25 miles per hour, as it has been pretty consistent the past couple of minutes with these storms. And we're going to time out when this batch of wind, that isn't even warned for any kind of severe weather right now, but it is coming along with some, what we are noticing here in the First Alert Weather Center with our precision tracker, it is coming along with some very strong winds that are going to be noticeable to your neighborhood. Now, we are talking about it being right on top of Covington. We have about maybe 5 minutes in Covington before this wall of wind, you can almost call it, moves through your neighborhood. Ripley, it's moving through now. We'll be watching areas like Brownsville. I want you to keep watching our coverage throughout the morning, as that can get to your neighborhood within the next hour or so. But let's go back to Patrick, who has an update on what's going on currently with that tornado warning.
I got a report of some rotation moving through. That's going to be off of Sneed Road. It was off of Drummond's Road this morning. So up here in southern Tipton County, this is moving into the quote-unquote cone of silence as it's moving on top of the radar. So we're not going to get a really good look at this until it moves east of Millington. But they're going to keep the tornado warning going because of that very reasoning. It's hard to discern whether or not the rotation is lifted or has weakened because we're just so close to the radar site at this point. So again, we're going to backtrack out here, and I want to get a quick check of what's going on. Broad scale here. I know you may not be dealing with a active severe situation in places like Sardis and Oxford and Corinth and Selmer and Bolivar and Somerville right now, Hernando, but be prepared. There is a risk for strong and severe thunderstorms. Everybody underneath the Action News 5 coverage area underneath a severe thunderstorm watch until 2 p.m. And we still have that risk for severe weather across the board here today. The level 2 out of 5 risk in play here across the Mid-South. Let's go back over to the active warnings that we currently have here across the Mid-South. And again, we have a severe thunderstorm warning. And actually, can you zoom out really quickly? I think a new warning just came out up north. Because as I was zooming in, I think
in Kentucky there's a tornado warning, but not for our area.
Okay, just wanted to make sure that that wasn't like in Dyer County. So a new tornado warning, it came out for southwest portions of Kentucky. So again, we have a tornado warned storm, still radar indicated. We have not gotten any reports of a tornado down with this throughout its track. Now granted, it has been moving through a very rural portion of Tipton County and right along the Tipton-Shelby County line here when it comes down to it. But there's still some indication of rotation. Once this moves east of Millington, I think we'll get another look at this and be able to say, okay, we can issue a severe thunderstorm warning downstream, or we can keep this tornado warning going. But act as if, again, tornado is actively moving through this area, Millington to Atoka, down towards Rosemark, and then eventually, if it holds together, out towards Arlington. So again, time to action right now would be over Millington, Atoka, and then very shortly out towards Rosemark. Farther down to the south, this is severe rated winds, and they're trimming back that tornado warning just a little bit. But it's still for Shelby and Tipton County, but they did trim the warning back a little bit. So this is straight line winds about to move in here. And look at this little kink.
Yeah,
that's
I've
like,
been looking at that
yeah,
as
that's
well.
Egypt Central. I was figuring that was probably Egypt Central and Singleton Parkway, or close to it. Here's Old Brownsville Road right here. Rivercrest Elementary's up here. Yale Road right here. You can see Bartlett. So this is a severe storm, but right here over Egypt Central Road, between Fraser and Raleigh, watching this area closely. If that holds together, north end of Bartlett, north of Yale Road, need to be kind of looking at that and saying something's a little funky here, okay? So again, I'm gonna keep a close eye on that, Riley. As that one moves through, and let me try to zoom back out. But you've got a look at it at broad scale there. Let's look at it on the link system again.
Yeah.
We have the severe thunderstorm warning still active. That does include the north leg of I-40 all the way up to the Tipton-Shelby County line.
Exactly, and this is a time the system is having a little bit of trouble, just like you said, because it's close to the radar site. But I have noticed on our storm winds that we have seen a little bit of that kink that you just pointed out near the town of Egypt in Shelby County. That is, again, a severe thunderstorm warning. It is not tornado warned at this time, but that is the kind of area where we would look for the potential for a spin up. Right where you see it's almost a little like an upside down L shape or that S shape that we talked about earlier. And it's even kind of showing up slightly in the storm winds. Now that latest scan, it flattens itself a little bit, but regardless, we are talking about quite a bit of strong wind making its way into the area. And radar estimates based off of the radar, again, it's going through a difficult time to estimate those exact wind speeds, but we are seeing some strong winds, almost a wall of wind, and this is mostly to the north of the I-240 loop. We are talking about the majority of this strong, severe storm, again, just north of downtown Memphis, north of the I-40 loop. And for those asking about the I-40 loop, we are just, or I-240 loop, excuse me, I should be saying that it's not raining right now, but we still have quite a bit of heavy rain that is on the way. So watching from there, we're focusing on where the weather's a little bit more intense at this hour. But Patrick, again, we're seeing the potential for a couple areas with some kinks trying to develop rotation.
Yeah, let's look at this broad brush right now. I want to go reset. It's 10:15 in the morning on a Saturday. It's March the 7th. And I want you to look at this on a broader perspective here, because again, I know for folks in Corinth and Oxford and Ripley, Mississippi, and Bolivar and Wyville and over towards Somerville and LaGrange, you're probably thinking, okay, I don't really care. It's not on top of me right now. Give it 2 hours, it will be on top of you. So again, hopefully it's not going to be severe warned at that point. But the reason why we are focusing in on Shelby County right now, it's not just because it is a large population center. There's over 1 million people, about 1 million people in Shelby County, but also because of the fact that we are dealing with a tornado warned storm and a severe thunderstorm warning that are kind of co-located in the northern portion of the county. So even for my friends in southern portions of Shelby County, I'm talking Oak Haven, Parkway Village, as well as Hickory Hill, Germantown, Collierville. This storm is not for you. The warned storm is in the northern portion of the county right now. We should be able to get a better look of the tornado
and the new
portion of it.
Patrick, we got just new in from the National Weather Service. There's a report of broad rotation and lowering looking west from Atoka Elementary School.
Okay.
So if we can reset there and get a little look at that location, Patrick.
All right, so let's go up to the north, up to Atoka, and zoom in a little bit closer there. There you go. There's Atoka, and you know, it might be this little kink right here. Let me go over to the velocity mode because, again, this is going to be in a weird place because of where
the radar,
the radar is, and being that it's on the heaviest rain is on top of the radar right now. So it's a little funky here, but that would be. There is a possibility that there could be some rotation there, but it would be broad at best, just north of Atoka there. I think the biggest impact right now is still going to be, well, let me clear that out. I think the biggest impact will still be right along the Tipton and Shelby County line as it's moving through this area, kind of in the middle of that warning. I still want to keep an eye on what's happening up north. We don't have a warning out for portions of northern Tipton, but that still has some strong winds approaching Covington. So why don't you work on that for me, and I'll work on this one as we get ready for this storm to move down the pipeline here.
And for Covington right now, the strongest winds, the wall of winds, if you will, is moving through now.
Okay.
This is the time in Covington for the most significant
Take that full right now. Just take the links full because I want you to see that. Strong winds from Henning down towards Covington right now, probably 40, 50 mile per hour winds, I would say. Right so, you know, after you've done this so long, you look at the color table, you're like, that's about 40, 50 mile an hour winds. But granted, that is also looking about 3,000 feet up or 2,000 feet up from the radar site. So that heavy rainfall could definitely bring it down to the surface. Let's come back down here to the other warning of note, which is the tornado warned storm. As Riley's putting a storm track on
this wind.
On the wind.
We'll just talk about the wind real quick and we'll head back to Patrick at the wall. But the timing for this area of strong wind, it's moving through Covington now, as we said. But if you're watching from areas like Brownsville, from Stanton, this is the kind of weather that is going to be moving into your neighborhood as we head towards the top of the hour. So we've got about 40 minutes for that. But in the meantime, it is going to be pushing its way from Tipton, from Lauderdale counties. And we are going to be talking about getting into areas like Haywood County as we head into the next hour, really the next 20 minutes to the next hour. And we'll be watching that very closely. But for an update on what we're seeing with that tornado warned storm and the severe thunderstorm warning, Patrick, what do you have for us at the wall? I
will say, looking at it from that perspective, it's not super impressive right now. That's good news. And let's hope that that's the case. You know, it's still coming out of that cone of silence over Millington. I mean, a torrential rain coming down in Millington right now, up along 385 on the north leg here. Imani, if you've got anything, you just chime in. You know, you just let us know what you got going on.
Yeah, I just noticed. I was looking through a lot of. Is my mic on?
Yeah.
I just noticed a lot of different Facebook pages for the towns that you are mentioning are having sirens test today. So I want people to be aware that there is severe weather going on, and these, if the sirens are going off, these are not tests.
Yeah, usually they do cancel them on severe weather days, so they're not doing it at noon.
And it is possible if you're in an area like Millington, if they're hearing the siren, it's because they're under the tornado warning right now. Arlington, another area where even if there was a test scheduled at all, we're talking about an ongoing tornado warning.
I see Covington, Atoka, they were supposed to have tests today around this time as well. Okay,
so with that being said, understand that, you know, right now, active warnings for Tipton and Shelby counties. I know Shelby County, they can parse out where they issue when the warnings issue. So we have a siren like right outside here. We're not hearing it here in Midtown. So that's reasoning why, because you're not underneath a tornado warning in Midtown Memphis. Remember, we have a polygon warning, and inside that polygon, that's where we have the issues. Millington to Bolton and Rosemark right now in Shelby County, and then Atoka, Munford, and then pushing out to the eastern portions of the county here very shortly. It'll cross over Austin P Highway here very shortly. Let's zoom in a little bit closer on the storm of note. Again, for my friends in Millington, it is coming down like cats and dogs. And hopefully we're not dealing with severe winds, but you treat it as such. You're underneath a severe thunderstorm warning and a tornado warning at the very same time. So take it as that. Take your tornado precautions. Be in a safe place, interior room, away from windows, lowest floor of your home. I'm going to put the scope on here. I want to see if we can see anything with the velocity. And I just don't see anything that's like popping up in that area. But I will say, like down here, that would be... Let's see here. I'm trying to get my bearings straight. That would be like Yale Road. So right around Yale Road, a little bit of rotation. It's trying to nudge its way in there, heading over towards Bartlett. So this would be, again, Covington Pike, Austin P Highway, Yale Road, James Road, where there's something that's trying to bow itself out and maybe get a quick kink in that line as it's coming across Austin P Highway. That'd be out by the Austin P Police Precinct, the Raleigh Library, the Civic Center. So that's moving eastward. Bartlett, you're not underneath the tornado warning, but definitely want to keep a close eye on things. Let's go over, and I want to see the downtown camera. Let's take the downtown camera, and you'll be able to see how the heavy rain is coming down now. And the camera's bouncing up and down now. So we got
there's
at least
the rain. It's arriving now.
Yeah, so that's moving into downtown. And that portion of the storm is not severe warned.
No, but we did get something from the National Weather Service. They're just noting southwest Shelby County. It's not warned right now, but they're noticing some strong winds there that they want to keep an eye on. So especially for areas like the airport, things like that. We'll just take a quick look here on links while we let Patrick just reset real quick. But we're going to just take a quick look at that because that is not under the tornado warning, but it's something that the National Weather Service has let us know they are just taking a look at. There's not any clear signs of rotation or severe thunderstorm winds at this time, but there's the potential for maybe some strengthening winds as we head into the southwestern portion of Shelby County, and that's coming along with the storms that are just crossing the Mississippi River there now. Northern Shelby County, again, we already have the winds making their way halfway through, but the southern part of the county is where we're starting to see some of the rain move through.
To add to the problems,
is the radar
the radar may
working?
have lost commercial power, so this may be a little bit behind. So let's do something really quickly because
let me look at the past 15 minutes.
Okay.
The scan stopped coming around 10:18. That's about 6 or 5 minutes ago.
Okay, so let's do something really quickly because that is not ideal.
No.
We're going to have to switch over to the terminal Doppler site, and I might not be able to do this directly over at the wall. So give me just 2 seconds and let me switch over to the terminal Doppler. And
while Patrick is doing that, let's talk about what we know right now. Amani, if you feel free to chirp in if you have any reports that you would like to give us at this time.
I haven't seen any reports of like damage. I've been searching through all the fire departments and I haven't seen any damage or anything like that so far, but I have seen people say they need to take cover just for, just the safety and to be weather aware during this severe weather.
Yeah, I'm trying to compare just with all of our different radars at this time, since we have been about 6 minutes at this point since we've seen the Memphis radar. Just going through some of our other radar locations, we are seeing that rain move into Shelby County.
So let's do this. Let's go over to Max 1, and because I'm gonna have to do this from over here. But this looks like that the storm on the velocity on the let's see if it comes back up. I think we may have lost the terminal Doppler too. Okay. There seemed to be a bit of rotation. So the sweep's coming around. Give it 2 seconds as the sweep comes around from the, we're having issues with the terminal Doppler down in Hernando. All right, so I will say this. We'll keep the tornado warning, and the reason why I say that, you see that little hook right there just to the east of Millington, that just crossed Austin P Highway. If there's a tornado, it'll be right there.
Yes.
That's near Bolton.
Yep.
So I wouldn't be surprised just because they are just because they are dealing with this right now. It seems like the radar is down.
And I will,
completely.
based off of that scan, I'm going to estimate where that is on our other software, and we are going to time it out as if it's moving 25 miles per hour.
That's over Rosemark. So Tipton Rosemark Academy's up there. It's crossing over Highway 14 right now. That's Austin P Highway. This is far northeastern Shelby County. Okay, and this is going to come and go. So actually,
So why don't we pull up?
Move that storm track a little farther to the east, where that line goes up and
Sounds
down.
good.
That would be Austin P Highway. That's where it's located at right now.
Okay.
So once Riley gets that storm track up there, we'll go from there. But the area that I'm watching out for right now is going to be right here over Rosemark. Safe place now, interior room, away from windows, lowest floor of your home. And again, this would be still the tornado warned portion of this storm. We're waiting to see if the radar will come back up. They're trying to switch it over to the generator power, but unfortunately that may take some time.
And it takes some time. So in the meantime, we still have some weather going on. Why don't we pull up the Lynx Precision Tracker, First Alert Precision Tracker right now. And this is the best timing we can give at this time. So we're talking about areas like the Braden neighborhood around 10:47. I want to make sure you guys are in that interior room at this hour. So that's about 20 minutes, but that's also an area that is not currently under the warning, but we want to track where that rotation is going to be heading. And we do hear the rain right now on top of the Action News 5 studios. So that lets us know, even without radar now, we can say that it is raining pretty heavily in Midtown Memphis. So as we move that down, we can see we're, a couple scans off from that. Again, going back to when this last updated for us. That was around 10:18. We are now at 10:27. The past 10 minutes, if you are just joining in, we have not had radar data.
Well, we do have radar data. So let's go over to Max. Let's go over to Max 1. I do have the terminal radar, but I'm just not going to be able to really get up here and show you. This is live data. This is from the airport radar down in Hernando. So it's a little farther out, and the ability for it to see far enough to go too far to the north, I mean, we won't be able to see much further than maybe Tipton County on this. But I do want to point out here, Bartlett, treat this as a severe thunderstorm with 60-mile-an-hour winds. I think that this is at least some strong winds moving in your direction. The potential for a rotation of this storm is going to be a little farther to the north. It is moving through Rosemark right now. I want you to be in your safe place if you're in northern portions of Shelby County. And again, I know that if you are not in northern Shelby County, this is probably like, okay, I don't really care if I'm in Collierville. This is 40 miles away. But, this is a little different of a scenario that's playing out here this morning, because now we've lost one of the primary radars, and so now we're really having to rely on a radar that is not as strong and cannot see as far, but at least we can see it here in Shelby County. Again, if you're in southern Tipton County, stay in a safe place. If you're on that Tipton-Shelby County line, safe place, interior room, away from windows, lowest floor of your home. And again, the data's going to come and go, so just bear with us here. It's going to come and go, but just know that we do have a severe thunderstorm warning. I'd say Bartlett, Lakeland, you need to be prepared for strong winds moving in your direction here this morning. And then the northern portion of the storm, as they trim back the warning a little bit with the severe warning, the northern portion of the warning still going to have some issues coming from northern portions of Tipton County, southern Tipton County, and the northern Shelby County. Millington, I can give you an all clear at this point. If you have a Millington address, you live in Millington, we can give you an all clear on this. But if you're east of Millington, I know we may have some folks out here who have Millington addresses out near Rosemark. Be in your safe place. That's where the strongest indication of a tornado warned storm would be right now in northern portions of Shelby County. Again, from Bolton northward. Here's 385 right here. So, Bolton High School sits like right here. You see the warning getting trimmed down again for the tornado warning. It's in that area I'm just talking about. I want to give a heads up to northwestern portions of Fayette County, eastern and southeastern areas of Tipton County, and potentially southern Haywood County. If they keep this warning going, you may be the next ones in line. So I want to give you a first alert to that. But again, severe thunderstorm winds crossing Austin Peay Highway, now moving into Bartlett. Safe place. Be prepared for some strong winds moving through the city of Bartlett and eventually out towards Lakeland and Arlington as that storm moves off to the east. Yeah, we still have some very heavy rainfall and some strong winds moving through the core of the metro area now inside the 240/40 loop. Can we take the Clark Tower camera? I see it jumping up and down up there at the top of the Clark Tower. Maybe we can get a look at that here a second. Just let me know whenever you have it ready. But again,
and we have a severe thunderstorm warning that will now come for Shelby County. So they're looking for some increased winds in the southern portion of Shelby County.
Okay, so now coming through Boxtown and Westwood. Okay,
yeah.
So that's a new warning that's good. All right, so take the Clark Tower. We'll get this reset. And again, take the Clark Tower. That's a live look from the Clark Tower in East Memphis. You see Poplar underneath you. That's the traffic along Poplar going out towards Laurelwood, and you see Park Avenue there just south of there, heading out towards Lethbridge. And you see the camera just bouncing up and down. It's that strong winds now blowing into that part of the metro area. So again, this is a severe thunderstorm warning that is now going to come out for portions of Shelby County. This will be the southern portion of the county. So the folks who said, I don't really care because it doesn't affect me, now it's about to affect you for southern portions of Shelby County, and probably would impact Whitehaven, Oakville, Capelville, out towards Southwind Golf Course, southeast Shelby County, and probably Collierville and Germantown would be included in that, and parts of Cordova too. So again, severe thunderstorm warning about to come out for southern portions of Shelby County here very shortly. All right, so take the downtown camera, and there you go. That's the downtown camera. You're looking towards the M Bridge, and that's where that new severe thunderstorm warning is coming out. I don't see any hail falling out of that, but extremely heavy rainfall, most definitely.
Yeah,
it's moving through there this morning. Are you looking from Columbus on yours?
I am looking, just real quick, I just want to break in those. The tornado warning is going to be replaced with the severe thunderstorm warning. Okay. So we are no longer going to have a tornado warning. But again, we're still waiting for that Shelby County tornado warning. Southern Shelby County, the severe thunderstorm warning is what is expected to be issued. And we're waiting for that in our system. But I wanted to just bring up that the airport is somewhere. And this is coming from a separate radar site. So it's farther away. But the airport at Memphis, that is starting to see some of that heavy rain ongoing. So we will be looking for updates on what is going on currently with flights and things like that in the short term. But we can see just even from this radar site, which is far, far away, we are talking about some heavy rain making its way into Shelby County. This is the area that is going to be under this severe thunderstorm warning, and that will encompass Shelby County with a tornado possible tag is what we're being told.
It's going to be eastern Shelby County, Fayette County, northwestern Marshall County, and northern DeSoto. That's going to be underneath this new severe thunderstorm warning.
And oftentimes, too, whenever there's a situation with the radar down, those severe thunderstorm warnings just expand in size, just to deal with the uncertainty that we are dealing with here. The National Weather Service is also having to deal with that as well. But we can see just issued here on the our graphic system on air here, we're showing that larger severe thunderstorm warning to encompass this area with some very strong winds that are ongoing. So again, this includes now Fayette County, Tennessee. This includes northern DeSoto County, South Haven area, and this includes the airports, the Memphis International Airport there, where we are currently seeing those strong winds. We can't really get a radar estimate at this time, but what we can tell you, the rain is heavy. There's the potential here within this warning for winds upwards of 60 miles per hour. So that is the severe threshold we are looking for in that case. But again, the tornado warning is being allowed to expire. We're dealing with just a strong thunderstorm with a severe thunderstorm warning attached to it for the majority, if not all, you could say, of eastern Shelby County, the majority of southern Shelby County, including much of the I-240 loop. And this is this far northern portion of DeSoto County. So if you're in South Haven, this includes you. Hernando, you are just to the south of this, but Hernando is still somewhere going to be seeing some lightning, some thunder moving through, and that is also going to be making its way eventually towards the east over the next couple of hours. And we're basically taking a look now at how fast this is moving. Once I get exactly that, it's moving east at 40 miles per hour is what they're going to track. So this is, again, an imprecise starting point based off of the fact that this radar we are using is not the radar in Memphis, but this is a radar site a little bit farther away. And if we time it to the east at around 40 miles per hour, just for some timing here, we are talking about the bulk of this rain and heavy wind arriving in areas like Germantown around within just the next couple of minutes here. We're talking about Collierville around 11 a.m. By Bahalia, we're talking about around 11:02. So these are a lot of areas that are going to start to see the heaviest of the rain and wind move in within the top of the hour, Patrick.
Okay, let's go back over here to Max 1. I want to show you where the strongest of the winds are now, moving through Bartlett, moving out towards Wolf Chase, New Brunswick Road, Old Brunswick Road now, and out towards Lakeland here shortly. This would be out towards Canada Road, Houston Levee Road, Cordova. Treat this as if you're dealing with a severe thunderstorm that's got 60-mile-per-hour winds, because that's what it is. Another look at this, and Ben, I want you to look at there's a camera at Arlington at Highway 70 and 385. Pull that camera up for me. Thank you. Appreciate it. Because that's going to have a good look of it as well. And then we'll hop back down to the south here shortly. But again, the tornado warning storm is about to become a severe thunderstorm warning downstream of all of this. Now, for my friends that are a little bit farther down to the south, and we'll zoom back out and kind of give you a broader perspective of where we are at. And the radar might jump around just a little bit. So just give me a second, because again, we're dealing with a couple of different things here this morning. Obviously losing a radar here this morning, and now still dealing with active severe warnings. Look at how large that severe thunderstorm warning is. And to Riley's point, the Weather Service is going to err on the side of caution on this. They're going to err on the side of caution and issue a very large severe thunderstorm warning downstream of this. That does include Somerville, Oakland, it includes Byhalia, Casey, Collierville, Germantown, Olive Branch, South Haven, Horn Lake, down towards South Memphis, as well as Westwood, Boxtown. All right, so go ahead and take that Arlington camera. Arlington's also included in this as well. As we look at this is at 385 and Highway 70. And you see there the up and down, that we 385, the underside, that would be Highway 70 heading back out towards Lakeland. On the left-hand side, right-hand side would be heading towards Arlington. So again, the strongest of the winds would be moving through this area right now. Take your precautions with this as if this would be a tornado warning, because again, it's hard to discern what is a tornado at this point and what could be straight line winds, but the strongest indication of wind is now pushing across this portion of the metro area. Let's hop down and let's come back over to the radar, and Ben, then get that 240 at Airways camera ready for me, and then when you get it ready, we'll hop down there. But we'll hop down to the south now, and broader perspective here, and we'll switch back over here and that's going to be the radar site out of Columbus, Mississippi. So there you go, with the strongest of the winds moving through here, moving up into portions of Shelby County. Chief Meteorologist Ron Childers just walked in, and we'll get him mic'd up here in a second. But again, you've got a very, all right, let me wait for the thing. Go ahead, Imani.
Shannon Beasley, he just posted, he said possible rotation around Highway 14 near Rosemark, heads up in that area.
Okay.
Let you all know that.
You know, and Sheriff Beasley is chronically online like myself, which is good, because he keeps us updated what's going on up there in Tipton County. We appreciate that report from him. You know, kind of on that Tipton and Shelby County line, we've been watching that very closely. This is the latest look at the radar, again, approaching South Haven. And again, you're just going to have to bear with us with this as the radar comes and goes. But Highway I-55, up and down Highway 51 this morning, that's where we're also seeing some very strong winds about to move through Whitehaven, out towards Memphis International Airport, Capelville, Oak Haven, and then eventually Parkway Village and Hickory Hill. So heads up for you guys down here in the southern portion of the county. We're dealing with this. At the very same time, we're dealing with another severe storm that is pushing across the northern portion of the county. That includes Bartlett, Cordova, Lakeland, and Arlington. Let's take that 240 Airways camera. So this would be looking at the south leg of the loop this morning. This is going to be 240 between Airways and Lamar. The strongest of that storm is approaching that area here very shortly. And if we can, take the Midtown camera, because it's coming down pretty good here at 1960 Union. There you go. That's 1960 Union. You're looking back towards downtown Memphis. and hard to see it because of the heavy rainfall. Now, I don't know if we got strong enough winds blowing through here right now, but still, needless to say, treat it as such. It is a severe warned storm now. That does include the entirety of the city of Memphis, downtown, East Memphis, South Memphis, North Memphis. West Memphis and Crittenden County, you're good, okay? So, you know, depending on where you are, things are improving. In Arkansas, we can almost give you an all clear. I'd say for Lee and Phillips County, give it a little bit of time. Once the storms that are moving through Lee and Phillips County clear your area, you're done for the day. Once this moves through our area, this will be done for the day, okay? You just got to get past this initial batch of storms that's moving through here. Ben, go ahead and get 40 at, let's see here, 40 at Canada Road ready for me. 40 at Canada Road. Cordova, it's on top of you right now. Here's Dexter Road right here. Walnut Grove, so this would be out as you're heading out towards the eastern portion of the county, out towards Fisherville, Collierville, Arlington Road, Houston Levee Road. Go ahead and be in a safe place because, again, some strong winds moving through your area too. Up and down Houston Levee, that then turns into Canada Road between Cordova up towards Lakeland into Arlington, Brunswick as well. Go ahead and take your precautions as if you're dealing with a tornado because, again, there's some very strong winds that's blowing out in this direction. Bartlett, I will give you another 5 minutes, probably the eastern side of Bartlett out towards like Germantown Parkway. You guys have probably still the strongest portion of the storm. If you're on the eastern side of Bartlett out towards Bartlett Boulevard and Sycamore View, that area, I think things are calming down for you guys. It's still going to be heavy rainfall, but the eastern side of Bartlett is a little bit better. If you're closer to Bartlett Elementary, you're in better shape than, say, Bon Lynn Elementary. That gives you some reference points there. So again, still some strong winds moving through Arlington and is about to move over towards Galloway here shortly. So Galloway, heads up, Hickory With, that's Tennessee Highway 196. Go ahead and be prepared that this is heading in your direction. Also, Eads, Fisherville, Collierville, next in line. Keep an eye on this one down here, Macon Road and Houston Levee. Seeing a little bit of something trying to get going there. Let me, it's gonna be hard to see that from there, but there might be something trying to rotate right into eastern Cordova.
Yeah, and of course that is something that's very difficult to track when you can't get those frame-by-frame moments here. But if why don't we take just let's reset here, look at an overview of this whole event because we want to let people know who is in the clear. If you are watching us right now from eastern Arkansas, you are in the clear. The severe weather threat is now moving past you into Tennessee and parts of northern Mississippi. And if we take this a little bit full, again, that severe thunderstorm warning is right in the center of our viewing area. We're talking about Shelby County. We're talking about northern DeSoto County, also starting to make its way into Fayette County. So Somerville, you're under this very large severe thunderstorm warning to encompass the entire area that is dealing with the radar outage at this time. But if we think about the area that we are seeing some of that rotation near Cordova, it's not the best look on the radar right now. But if we take a look at where that rotation that Patrick last indicated on his radar scan, and we say this is moving, we have gotten reports that the storm itself is moving around 40 miles per hour to the east. So in terms of timing with that last area we were able to see some of that rotation. If we track that to the east, we are talking about areas like Oakland seeing this start to move through your neighborhood around that 11:05 time frame. So we're talking about 20 minutes from now. And in the meantime, this area that we've last indicated as a potential area of rotation is to the north of Collierville, expected to pass to the north of areas like Germantown, Collierville. Right now we're dealing with a lot of that heavy rain, Lakeland over towards downtown Memphis. It's ongoing in midtown Memphis at this time, but if you're watching from central portions of Fayette County, we are not done with this yet, and we are going to be watching these trends very closely. Again, northern parts of DeSoto County. If you're watching from South Haven, we have some heavy rain. rain. We have some very gusty wind going along there, and also northern portions of Marshall County in Mississippi. We want to just be watching the trends very closely with the storms that are currently, Patrick, off to the west.
Yeah, and let me turn my microphone back on. So we're trying to get everything kind of set up here with everything that's going on this morning. Good job with switching over to the Columbus radar site there to see what's going on. Again, that tornado warning should drop off here shortly. That's been replaced by that severe thunderstorm warning that includes a good chunk of Shelby County as far as things are concerned this morning. So again, let's keep links up. Chief Meteorologist Ron Childers is going to work on Max 1 for a second as he kind of gets everything. Let's take that I-40 camera and move from there. Actually, take that back. Well, no, let's hold here. There you go, I-40 Canada Road. That's looking, let's see here. Let me get my bearing straight. Okay, so that's looking back off to the east. You see the Waffle House and Super 8 there off on the left-hand side of the screen. So Beverly Riviera Drive is just beyond that. On the other side would be the Lake District. So you're looking back off towards 269 and 385 off in the distance. And again, extremely heavy rainfall moving through this part of the world here. Let's put links behind me. So if you can, put links behind me. So let's time out this severe thunderstorm warned cell that's now moving through portions of Shelby County, heading towards DeSoto County, and also into Fayette County here shortly.
Yeah, and one thing we can mention here with that, Patrick, is that downtown Memphis, the 240 loop is now removed for the most part from that severe thunderstorm warning. They were allowed to cut that back. And we're also, unsurprisingly, seeing some of these flood advisories, some very high rainfall rates, as you can imagine, with the rain that is moving through Shelby County. But a look at the timing, as you can see right now, we are talking about this whole line of storms that has initiated that severe thunderstorm warning. This goes into parts of northern Mississippi. This goes into parts of southwest Tennessee. So areas like Hernando, this is about right on top of us right now. We're talking about Collierville around 10:53 when you can see the heaviest of that rain hit. We're talking about Rossville around 11:03 a.m., Somerville 11:07. These are just neighborhoods that are downstream, if you will, what is about to come in terms of some strong thunderstorms, regardless of whether or not they reach severe limits.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is that these storms definitely been at least buffeting up against severe limits over the last little bit. Again, Oakland, Collierville, Byhalia, Casey, Hernando, Olive Branch. I'd say it's on top of Olive Branch here right now, or very soon to be on top of Olive Branch. So my friends in Olive Branch, Horn Lake, as well as South Haven, go ahead and be prepared for some strong winds moving through your area. So we're not forgetting about everybody. I'll zoom out really quickly, Riley, because I know this is going to be a fun day today, it seems like. If you're in Dyersburg, we can give you the all clear. Anybody that's along a line from Dyersburg to Forest City points westward, you're done. Severe weather threat is done for the day. We might still have a couple of showers and thunderstorms moving through the area later on, but I think the overall severe weather threat, it kind of comes to an end and to a head once this initial line moves through here. That's been the going rate for this entire forecasted event, was that we would have an initial line of storms coming through here, and as that initial line comes through here, kind of zaps up a lot of the energy and then moves on about its merry way. But the longer it stays like this, I think, our eastern areas may be a little bit more active here shortly. Now, granted, that will get a little closer to the radar site that's down in Columbus, Mississippi. That helps out for them, but it's kind of a messy situation for us. We've got a cell merger that's going on right now just to the east of South Haven. And Ben, if you could get a camera on Goodman Road, like Goodman and Airways down in Mississippi, and we'll work with that and try to go from there, because that's got a little kink to it that, granted, we're looking like 5,000 feet up. I mean, this is a hard go of things.
Yeah, the complete opposite of what we were just doing half an hour ago.
Yeah, when the radar site was on top, the rain was on top of the radar site, an hour ago in Millington. Now we're looking from Columbus, Mississippi. So far cry from that here this morning. So again, Ben, if you can get that Airways and Goodman Road MDOT camera up there, that will help tremendously, because at least they'll give us some idea of what's happening down here, because there's something that's trying to wrap up in through there just based off of that. It's one of these situations here today, course of least regret, because of the situation at hand. And as we get more reports, hopefully we'll get some confirmation that nothing's happening. That's the hope here, but you got to just be prepared for anything and everything. Olive Branch, 10:49 is the current time. It'll be on top of you by 10:59. I'd say really it's on top of you almost now, because the eastern side of Olive Branch, that would be like downtown Olive Branch. So like if you're east of 78 there, you still got some folks who have Olive Branch addresses. If you're in the eastern side of Olive Branch, you need to go ahead and be prepared that the storm's on top of you here shortly, moving off towards the east. Holly Springs would be closer to about 11:30 or so. Snow Lake Shores, 11:40. Ashland, about 11:45 as you're heading out towards Benton County. Internally, inside of the 240 and 40 loop here, Collierville, it's on top of you guys here very shortly, if not on top of you right now. Germantown, you're dealing with the heavy rainfall right now. Fisherville, dealing with the heavy rainfall. Piperton, as well as heading out towards Rossville, you guys also dealing with this storm too. Strong winds, damaging winds likely with it as it moves eastward. That's the main impact. And there's still a possibility that you could get a brief spin-up tornado with it as well. Let's take that camera. This is going to be at Airways and Goodman. Okay, Airways and Goodman. So we're not far away from where that would be located at, that little swirl here. And I don't know if you can pull up the shear rate from GWX. You might have to jostle around a little bit to get it. I want to see if we can see anything from that perspective, because that will give us a little cleaner look. You see a lot of folks, that's looking up Airway. So these folks are trying to get down onto Goodman right now, coming in from the city of Memphis. So again, you've got folks who are out there. I get it. It's a Saturday. You're running errands. You're trying to get to the grocery store. You're trying to get things, but you need to be in the mindset that storms are impacting you. So give it 45 minutes to an hour. If you can wait, that will help out tremendously. The camera that's behind Imani, is that Clark Tower? Go ahead and take that. Take the Clark Tower camera now. So let's go East Memphis now in Shelby County. And you see the camera is bouncing around pretty profusely. Granted, we're looking at like 300 feet up. But I mean, that's some strong winds up there at the top of the Clark Tower. I definitely wouldn't want to feel that sway up there at the top of the Clark Tower or the iBank Tower for that matter. Of course, you're still dealing with extremely heavy rainfall. We're getting like 1 to 2 inches of rain an hour at this point as these storms are moving on through. So let's go back over to the Doppler radar, and we'll just kind of work our way down the line now. So let's just work our way down the line here. It looks like something came back up, Ron. I think we got the NQA back up. So he's working on something on Max 1, but it looks like we may have that data back up. It may not be ingesting and links just yet, but it looks like it's coming in on, or unless that is Little Rock. No, that's Little Rock. That's what it is. Okay, never mind. I thought we got the radar back up. All right, so let's hop back over to links, First Alert Precision Tracker.
Yep.
Because we're still going to be dealing with some strong winds up here. Now, nothing severe up to the north right now, but I don't want to completely discount what's happening up north, moving through Crockett County and now into Haywood County, coming down through Nutbush, Tennessee Highway 19 between Ripley to Nutbush over to Brownsville. Heads up, some strong winds coming straight through Nutbush right now and Christmasville here shortly. And then it stretches down into eastern Tipton County out towards Mason and Braden, down Highway 70. And of course, 70 runs you right into Arlington. We saw the camera in Arlington not terribly long ago. Of course, still dealing with some very heavy rainfall. Notice how things are starting to diminish behind that line. Millington, downtown Memphis soon enough. Give it a couple minutes. West Memphis, Earl, Marion, Jeanette, starting to see some improvements here. So again, improvement slow to come, but it is happening as this whole line works its way eastward. But if you are in front of the line, Holly Springs, Oxford, Senatobia, Marks, Batesville, you're going to have some issues here. Let's do, and I don't know if this would work, do the future scan on this. Do the future scan.
Yeah.
This will take it out 2 hours, and it may be from...
Should only be one based off of what we are able to do.
Okay.
Said their power is out off of Navy Road.
That's in Millington?
and flooding. There's lots of flooding as well. So be aware of flooding and if your power is out as well.
Could you check MLGW or
Yeah, I'll
somebody
check
in the back
that. I'll
check
check
MLGW numbers and see where we're at?
And just so you know, the severe thunderstorm warning is being allowed to be canceled.
Okay, good.
So this means no severe alerts at this time across the area because the winds have come down a little bit based off of the data we've been able to gather here, and that means the fact that we are going to be allowing this severe thunderstorm warning that includes Shelby that we've been going over into parts of Fayette County. It's been allowed to be canceled and expired as we continue to try to get some of that radar data online here. So again, we will be watching for this very heavy rain, regardless of whether or not you see those strong winds. We are seeing some very heavy rainfall rates. This is when we start to think of areas that have seen the line come through. This is when we start thinking about some flooding on flood-prone areas, Patrick, that have seen, like you said, we could estimate just by how hard the rain has been coming down, an inch or two per hour in some locations is entirely possible. Yeah,
most definitely. Of course, very heavy rainfall coming down here. So the severe thunderstorm warning has been allowed to expire as TV magic happens right here in live elements. Of course, we're going to hold here for a couple of minutes. I just want to hold here until the top of the hour as we kind of get through here. We'll reset here. And what we'll do is give us a couple of extra minutes. We'll go on digital and we'll be updating on the digital side here starting at just after the 11 o'clock hour. We'll start doing that. So folks who are on television, go over to our digital channels, our streaming channels, and we will be updating there. But I do want to go and give you a heads up of what we are dealing with. We still have active severe storms, or strong storms in the very least, moving through the area here this morning. They're working their way off towards the east. Let's go over to Max 1, put Max 1 behind me, and we'll work our way through the forecast elements because we still have a couple of hours to get through here. That's a look at First Alert Doppler radar. And again, what Ron has done, he's kind of pancaked all the radars together to make it work for us, given the situation at hand. You can see right in through here that whole line stretching from about Humboldt and Trenton down towards the south and east all the way to Tunica, Helena, West Helena. That line, that is your severe warn line, or what could become severe warned, okay? Once that line pushes past you, you're done. You're done with severe weather. Blytheville, Jonesboro, Wynn, Forest City, Truman, Turl, Marion, West Memphis even. Give it a little bit of time, Memphis will be in better shape as well. We'll zoom in a little bit closer. Of course, we've been dealing with the severe warned storm here. Millington, Bartlett, as well as Lakeland and Arlington, Cordova, down towards the south into Collierville and into Germantown. Still extremely heavy rainfall moving through your area at this moment. Maybe some strong winds still possible along that line as it's moving eastward. The other one that we're going to keep an eye on, this little cell right here that's coming up I-40, Galloway exit right here. This would be Tennessee Highway 57 right here. That'll take you back down towards the south into Somerville and then up to the north up towards the Blue Oval City area, the Stanton area into Haywood County. That's Tennessee Highway 222. That area also being involved with some strong and severe storms. Broader perspective, again, you see how the warnings drop off over the last little bit. These storms are almost done for the metro area, but they're not completely done yet for the entire region. We still have a little bit to go. Give it a couple of hours, but my friends in Oxford, Ripley, Mississippi, Corinth, Mississippi, Selmer, Tennessee, over towards Somerville, Bolivar, Snow Lake Shores, Ashland, over towards Walnut, Holly Springs, Pottscamp, Hickory Flat. These areas still dealing with the potential for strong and severe storms. Probably through about 2 o'clock this afternoon. Remember, we have that severe thunderstorm watch until 2 p.m. today. Would not be surprised if this gets clipped off here back into the western areas here shortly as far as things are concerned. We're about 2 minutes out. Riley, you got any finishing thoughts on this? With this whole system coming through here, we're not done just yet, but we want folks to know that we still are going to be tracking them here shortly.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing with this, if I just go back to our current radar here, but this is, I was just looking to see maybe estimates from rainfall from what we've seen. It's very difficult to do that without the radar functioning properly in Memphis, but overall we are just talking about you know, from our national radar, if I just bring this up real quick, it just kind of goes to show us behind this line of storms, we're still dealing with quite a few hours of some steady to heavy rain across parts of the area. So even though the severe weather threat may be done in parts of eastern Arkansas, we are dealing with some steady to heavy rain that's going to be ongoing the next couple of hours. And this is going to make for a pretty wet middle part of the afternoon Saturday. We will start to see some of that clearing as we head into the evening, but we're not seeing anything right now that indicates severe level winds, and that is something that we can at least take a sigh of relief for now. But we're still watching this line come through areas, and I mean, it hasn't even started raining yet as you head out towards Holly Springs, Corinth, Bolivar. These are areas that we're going to be watching very closely as we head throughout the next few hours, Patrick, as we get the rest of this line through the Mid-South, and then we'll just be talking about a heavy rain threat from there.
Yeah, and what we'll do, we'll head over to the digital side. So over on Facebook, at the Action News 5 Facebook page, we'll do a stream as well to continue our coverage there. So what we're going to do there, give us about 5 minutes. We'll have to hop in there and get everything set up. But for myself, Riley Winch, First Alert Chief Meteorologist Ron Childers, Imani Williams, First Alert Meteorologist Patrick Ellison, you back over to regular scheduled programming here on Action News 5. And again, we'll be on our streams here very shortly to continue our coverage here of the strong storms moving through the area. If any other warnings are issued, we'll send you get back on the television as soon as possible.
Yeah, I hear you. Hold on a second. Hey. Good morning. I'm Chief Meteorologist Ron Childers. We are live this morning tracking a line of storms coming through the Mid-South. And I tell you what, it's really been packing a punch, especially in regard to wind. We've had a couple of quick spin-ups with this. Right now, no active warnings, but we want to stay with you here on our live digital platforms just because this is impacting a large swath of the Action News 5 coverage area. Meteorologist Patrick Ellis and Riley Winch this morning really keeping you up to date on the storm moving through. And I'm happy to say, again, no warnings at this time, but there's still a lot of rain out there and a lot of lightning, and along this leading edge, gusting wind. And we can't put down our guard just yet for the possibility of a few quick spin-ups in and around the area. So, guys, can you take program out of my ear and let me go ahead and continue to track here. So let's show you what's going on. First of all, we've got this line. The whole line itself is moving off to the east. This has been the area right now where we've seen the greatest concentration of stronger winds. But I also want to keep an eye down here. That's where we have the greatest amount of instability this morning. There's a little more energy for these storms to work with, and we've still got some real estate to get through for counties in northeastern Mississippi that could be impacted by gusting wind or the possibility of a quick
I believe that. All right,
There we go.
I hear
we're
back.
We're back on the stream. Yeah. All right, so a little bit of a technical issue, but as I was pointing out, this main line right here, that's really weakened to a great degree, but it's the southern portion of this line that we want to watch closely, and simply because there's a little more instability. Riley, you had a chance to look at some of the data early this morning, and last night it was showing the potential for a little more energy right around parts of northern Mississippi, and just by taking a look at the radar returns themselves, I think that's where we could see something else firing up as we get on into the remainder of the late morning and a little closer to midday. All this activity moving off to the east. But what have you been seeing, and what have you noticed, or is there anything that has caught your eye about this area?
So first off, with the severe thunderstorm watch, everyone that is west of the Mississippi River is going to be cut from this watch from the time being going forward. But we are looking at the potential for some stronger storms now in northern Mississippi. Northern Mississippi is going to take the bulk of the rest of our current analysis as we head throughout the next hour or so. And we are talking about a special weather statement that includes DeSoto County, that includes southwestern Marshall, eastern Tate counties, due to what we can see right here. And that is the fact that we have some stronger storms that are starting to roll through. There's nothing that's reaching those severe winds of, let's say, 60 miles per hour at this time, Ron, but we are talking about what we're seeing in terms of this line, especially as we head into Tunica County. We are talking about quite a bit of heavy rain there, and we are talking about some lightning. So this is an area we'll watch for the potential for some storms to get a little bit stronger with what we are seeing in terms of some severe weather ingredients. We need to tap in to a lot of that warm air and humidity that's still off to the south.
Yeah, and it's right here. It's still in place. And as a matter of fact, Riley, what you were alluding to, National Weather Service has just killed all the counties that are west of the Mississippi River from the watch. So the threat now, West Tennessee remains, as well as a good portion of northern Mississippi. And listen, I think we could take Memphis and Shelby County out of it, and really the counties that border the Mississippi River in West Tennessee is the greatest threat has moved on through there. As we take a look at the big picture, you can really see it here. And again, it's going to be along this main line right here. It's that leading edge. So Madison County, you're still under the gun, as well as Fayette, Hardeman, McNairy County, nothing's come your way yet, so there's an untapped atmosphere there. Then we get into northern Mississippi, so all the counties that border the Mississippi-Tennessee state line, you're still under the threat for what could be a pretty significant thunderstorm coming into play. Right now, it's really been all about the rain, and I tell you what, we have seen some impressive rainfall rates with this. Let me clear this out of here. Now, we've also had radar issues throughout the morning, so that's been a big problem for us. But I want to zoom into some areas right now, and let's take a look. Let me bring this back up here, the tools. Let me take this, zoom in right here, and let's just go down this line and show you some of the rain that's falling and how much that could lead to the potential for some flash flooding. So take this little info right here. You get just to the north of Alamo. You see that area in red? That's coming down at about an inch, just close to 1.25 inches per hour. Then you get down here to Shelby County. It's coming down very heavy, especially as we get into southeastern Shelby County near Cordova, Germantown. We're getting close to 2 inches per hour. And look, there have been no indications of hail. Riley, have we had any hail reports in this at all?
We have not had any hail reports that I've been able to see. Of course, we had a lot of reports, could have gotten buried somewhere, but I haven't seen reports of that. This is primarily a straight line wind damage and potential for that brief spin up there. But as we take a look at the radar, one thing I have been noticing here is that we are seeing what I would call an intensifying storm in Tunica County. So if you are watching from Senatobia right now, if you're watching from even areas as far south as Batesville, Marks, Mississippi, this is where we have some of those storms that appear to be tapping into an environment prime for some storm development. And we've just seen in the past couple of scans just intensifying lightning. We've also seen some heavier rain in Tunica County that's likely to carry over towards the I-55 corridor, Ron, as we head into the next couple of minutes, really.
And I tell you what, let me switch over because I want to take a look at this as well, as we have seen what is really those radar intensity, or the intensity on the radar was really starting to ramp up there just in those last couple of scans that you were showing. So this is the line, but this is the area Riley was taking note of right here in Tunica County. Let me put a track on this right now just to give you an idea. Riley, how fast is that moving? About 35, 40 miles per hour to the east?
Yeah, most of them have. I'm going to try to get specific based off of what we've gotten from the special weather statement. We're talking about around southeast at 30, probably more east-southeast at 30 miles per hour.
And look, that's really just kind of sweeping through right there along and just to the east of 61 right now. So these are the communities that are going to be impacted by this in the next few minutes. Sledge right around 11:19 should be into Marks at 11:24. We'll see it get into Ballantyne, 11:34, 11:40 into Hernando, right around 11:54 into Batesville, Aiken, 12:01, Byhalia, 12:11. And this will move into Burgess right around 12:10. Now, again, going back and taking a look at the big picture, let me zoom out on this. I want to clear some of this data off. We'll zoom out and go back to the home view just so you can see the line itself. We'll start it off in Shelby County here. So we've still got several counties to go, a lot of atmosphere, but right now it's the area that is in our southern portion of the Action News 5 coverage area that we want to watch very closely, simply because there's a lot of instability that still remains here, and we've got a lot of warm air that's in place. This is starting to approach Sardis Lake right now. Look, even into southeastern Shelby County, it's still coming down pretty good, but fortunately it's not severe. Looks like there may be a little hail in this, or not hail, but very heavy rainfall. As a matter of fact, let me just switch over the rainfall rate quickly. Look at that area right there over Collierville. Can you see that? That is coming down, and that's not hail. So we've had no reports of hail. 4.1 inches per hour. So in other words, what that means, if that sat on top of you for 1 hour, you'd pick up about 4 inches of rain. Forecast models over the last couple of days have been showing about 1 to 2 inches of rainfall overall for the entire area. And this is why, the pockets of very heavy precipitation. We've got a moisture-laden atmosphere. There is a lot for this to work with, and now we've got a cold front coming through, and it's just kind of squeezing it all out across the area. I want to see if we can get spectrum width to work, and that will give us an idea of where the turbulence is. And unfortunately, we don't have all of our radar parameters today just because there are problems at the National Weather Service radar site in Millington with the radar being down. So if you take a look at the big picture here, you'll notice multiple sweeps. We're relying on radars from Little Rock, Columbus, and Paducah to give us information on what is going on here in the Action News 5 coverage area. So not necessarily driving while blind, but driving with one hand tied behind our back, so to speak, because we're not getting the most detailed coverage that we can see. Riley, you've switched over to the Columbus radar to take a look at the Mississippi. What do you got?
Well, those rainfall rates that you were mentioning over Collierville, that's the same kind of rainfall rates we're seeing over a good chunk of Tunica County right now in Mississippi. And again, Senatobia, especially if you have any family friends that are going to be driving on I-55, this is the best time to maybe take a break, because as the heavy rain comes by, that helps reduce visibility. So even without the severe level winds, which are still possible as we head into the later part of the evening, but taking it live and large here, I could say, Tunica County, even down to Marks, Mississippi. And I want to watch the bottom of this rain also very closely, because we're starting to see a couple more of those showers and storms starting to develop farther south than we were just, let's say, an hour ago. So that's areas like Clarksdale, and especially everyone watching in Oxford. It's been dry for the larger part of the morning so far, but we're already starting to see some more storms develop on the south side of the system. That could be something to watch if you've been watching patiently in areas like Oxford, Mississippi, over towards Batesville. We'll be watching these trends closely, but where the heavy rain is right now, we were talking about Tunica County. It's starting to move into areas like Tate County over towards Panola County, where we're going to have some heavy rain and areas of lightning as well. I mean, lightning in itself is dangerous.
And Riley, last night, you're pretty much centered over Quitman County right now. It's Marks, Mississippi. You've got Crenshaw, Mississippi. Last night, a significant little thunderstorm came through there. Just to give you an idea of what's going on in the atmosphere, it was a very small storm, really just moved through Quitman County. It was producing golf or ping pong ball size hail, and some of that, not necessarily producing it at the surface, but radar returns were showing ping pong ball size hail right around 10:30, 10:45 last night. That was a monster little storm, and not a lot in the environment has changed since that came through. Now, right now, I don't think we're seeing anything in the way of hail, as we've mentioned, but the potential for the damaging wind to develop, and because you've got this line that is moving off to the east. Let me show you this. We got the line moving off to the east, but you got a pretty steady southerly flow in advance of it. That could create a little bit of a spin on the leading edge of some of these cells. Also, as we zoom into this, there could be the potential for a couple of bowing segments to develop along that. As a matter of fact, that little cell that you were watching coming out of Tunica County, Riley, that's showing some signs of trying to bow right down here. So you get that, you could get a little vortex that begins to spin up right there in that area on the southern portion of that bow echo, or even on the northern portion of that bow echo. I think that's what we saw come through Shelby County earlier this morning. But we want to watch this one right now, but nonetheless, this thing is really producing some very heavy rainfall. So just east of the town of Tunica, it's coming down at about 3 inches per hour. You get right there just to the north of Quitman County, it's coming down just under 1.5 inches per hour. But right now, heavy rain seems to be the biggest issue. I can't tell about turbulence right now just because we don't have that, that layer in our radar. Oh. Look at this little area right here.
I noticed that as well.
Do you see that?
I did.
Can you get a better view on that?
We had a better scan just a moment ago. It looks like the next scan kind of missed out on that here, but
okay, it's a little more broad scale there.
We are still seeing that little bit of a kink right there, Tunica County, that we'll be watching. It's not the best because it is from a radar site so far away. But we're getting a lot of inflow just in general into this storm, because we've seen a note of just the fact that we're getting very high cloud tops. That means it's bringing a lot of air from ahead of it in parts of northern Mississippi. So it's tapping into this environment that is very conducive for storm development. And I know I did hear in my ear, I don't know if you did earlier as well, Ron, that we do have some live picture that they're ready to go to.
Yeah, let's do this. We have unconfirmed reports that there may have been a fatality as the storm was moving through the city of Memphis, Shelby County today. We've got a live view right now. Our photographer Than is out there. First responders are on scene. But this is on Given Avenue. Ben, is there a crossroad on that? Given, is this in East Memphis, I do believe? Okay, East Memphis on Given Avenue. getting reports right now. This is near North Holmes on Given Avenue, North Holmes. Reports that there may have been a fatality. It is unconfirmed, a down tree on a home. And look, a lot of people were still sleeping. It was a rainy Saturday morning, early morning hours, storm coming through. Right now, we're still working to gather details on this. And as we get new information, we will bring it to you. But right now, first responders on the scene of a down tree on a home at Given Avenue or Given Street right there at North Holmes. So as we get new info, we'll be passing it along. And of course, we've got a crew that is there now. We're sending a reporter out to get more info on this situation. Let's bring you back to the weather situation, show you what's going on. West Tennessee, you're just about in the clear from Madison County north. You get up around Gibson County, Weakley County. We had a little activity up there about 30 minutes ago. It looks like it is subsided now to more heavy rain. And again, it's very difficult. You notice the multiple sweeps you see here on the radar. The Memphis radar having power issues this morning. The storm came through there and evidently knocked out power. So we're having to rely on the surrounding radar to get the data here in the Mid-South. So we're hitting this at a little higher level because the farther you go from a radar site, the higher that beam goes into the atmosphere. But with the combination of the 4 sweeping radars we have around the Mid-South right now, we're still able to bring you some info. Tell you what though, we've also seen a lot in the way of lightning with this, and right now I'm starting to see lightning still kind of ramping up in northern Mississippi. Look at that, 168 strikes of lightning just in that box. This is just from eastern Arkansas, right there around St. Francis County south to Phillips County, and then coming on into northwestern Mississippi. So along that leading edge is where we have a lot of lightning right now. I'm going to track this whole line just to give folks a first alert on where this is going. Here, I hit draw instead of track. So, Riley, if anything catches your eye, feel free to jump in, let me know.
Yeah.
But let me put a track on this, guys, and show you where this is going to go over the next few minutes. So, these are some of the communities that are going to be impacted by this. Senatobia, 1120. Holly Springs should get in there right around 1158. That's if it continues to move at its current motion of about 35 to 40 miles per hour. Charleston, 1215, Oxford 1228, Ripley 1251, Corinth 115, and then Boone right around 137. So North Mississippi still under the gun for this. As I clear this out, let's get a track on what's going on through West Tennessee right now, and we'll put a track for the line that's still working through these counties right here. And let me track this out, and I'm going to track it from right here around Madison County south to the Mississippi-Tennessee state line border, and I'm just going to go due east with it. So Jackson, 1126, that's on just about on top of you right now. You're already getting some light rain out of this. Bolivar, 1141, then it'll move into Lexington at 1207. Darden, 1225, then into Selmer, 1233. So just after the lunch hour, Selmer, that's going to be moving there through you. We'll see it get into Savannah at 102, 115 into Nixon, and 137 into Hohenwald. So that's what we're looking at right now. That's a look at some of the tracks, the communities that are going to be impacted by this over the next few minutes. Let me zoom out just a little bit and reset the picture and just show you what we've got working. Memphis and Shelby County, you're in the clear. I know it's still coming down heavily right there in Collierville, and we've also got very heavy rain really in eastern Shelby County, some thunder, some lightning in there as well, but the severe weather threat is now right here along this leading edge of these storms as they're coming on through. If we're going to see any more severe thunderstorm warnings issued, or if we're going to see any more quick spin ups, I think it's going to be right here in this line. Riley, what are you looking at right now?
Yeah, I'm just continuing to look at what was Tunica County. Now we're into northern Quitman County. We're also looking at some heavy rain. And I'm going to zoom in on that at 11:23 this Saturday morning. We are talking about near the White Oak neighborhood Sledge. There's what looks like it is some heavy rain. Again, it's far from the radar site to be able to look at exactly where there could be any kind of form of rotation. But in terms of just the nastiest kind of weather that we are seeing across the area right now, chances are it is in the extreme far southeast portion of Tunica County and Quitman County. This is really starting to move into Tate County, also moving into Panola County in northern Mississippi. So the I-55 corridor, it's going to be a stretch of very heavy rain in the short term. It is not the best time to be driving there on I-55, but again, also looking just in general at what we are seeing across the area. We are again starting to see things die down. If you're heading out in Shelby County, Memphis, we're just going to be dealing with a lot of steady rain behind this for the next couple of hours. So even though the severe threat has died down, we're still looking at a washout at least for the next couple of hours. If you are in eastern Arkansas, if you're in Shelby County, even up towards Dyersburg, even up towards Mumford, Tennessee, that is what we are watching within the area. But again, switching over to the Columbus radar one more time, we are seeing still where we've yet to have the rain and the heavy rain move into areas like Bolivar out in Hardeman County, out in McNairy County. But in the past couple of frames, we've seen just a little bit more of that steady and heavy rain moving its way through parts of western Tennessee. But Ron, I think the primary threat for severe weather for the rest of the morning and afternoon here is going to be more in northern Mississippi. That's where we have the environment with the greatest amount of lifts, the greatest amount of severe weather potential to tap into.
I tell you what, I think we're looking at the potential for localized flooding, especially along and north of the 40 corridor. The heavy rain still coming down in those areas. We picked up just under an inch of rainfall here in Midtown, and it's still coming down at our studios at 1960 Union Avenue. Pretty heavy, as a matter of fact. Again, the severe weather threat pretty much over for Memphis and Shelby County and all the counties that border the Mississippi River in West Tennessee. It's that leading edge just to the east of Gibson County. You still get down into Hardeman and McNairy counties. You're still under the gun. No warnings again right now. Things are looking a little promising, but until that line moves on through, there is still the potential for something to fire up there. But again, northern Mississippi, and primarily this little area right here. Once the rain starts falling, that's going to help to stabilize the atmosphere pretty quickly. But at the same time, there's still some instability there, and with this line moving off to the east as it is, you got a good southerly flow that's in place right there, and then you've got the eastward movement of the line. That could create a brief little spin up for that area. Again, right now, the main issue with this is the potential for the heavy rain and the flooding, and again, a lot of lightning still occurring within this line. Right here from just, let's go Shelby County through Marshall, even into Fayette County, about 141 strikes of lightning just within that view. And it looks like the greater concentration of lightning right there around Tate County, 87 strikes. So more than half of the lightning strikes just there within Tate County and southern DeSoto County. So it is loud right now in those areas. I'm going to put another track on this. Let me zoom in a little tighter, show you where this is going, give our folks in northern Mississippi a better idea of what's going to be impacted. I tell you what, let's just go county by county with this. I'm going to pan down just a little bit right here, and then let's put a track on this line from right here in Marshall County. We'll track it east, and we'll go on through Alcorn County right there. So a general easterly movement with this, but Holly Springs, 1136, Snow Lake Shores, 1153, Potts Camp, 1158. That's coming your way in less than just about 30 minutes from now. And then Blue Mountain, 1124, or 1224, excuse me, Ripley, 1227. Then it gets into Dumas at about 1244. We'll see it move into Corinth at 1254. And then into Boonville right around 110. That'll be outside the Action News 5 coverage area. So that's the section of that storm that's moving on through. But look, there's another little segment right here. That's just beginning to push out of Quitman County and make its move on into Panola County. So let's put a track on this line, and we'll track it from right here around Tate County east. And I know I've got a little area that's not included in that right there, but it's not a great track, but a generalization of what is coming through. Riley, I want you to show that video, that image in just a moment to give people a better idea. But right now, let me walk through these cities. 1142, Sardis, Batesville, 1150, Pope, 1158. Then it moves into Oxford at 1228, Hickory Flat, 1241, Ripley, 1259, New Albany, 106, and and then into Pontotoc at 129. So these are some of the communities that are going to be impacted by this in the coming minutes. And really, by the time we get to around 1 o'clock, this is going to be gone. So we got about another 90 minutes to deal with this. And again, I'm very encouraged by the fact that there are no active warnings right now, and not even getting any indication from the National Weather Service that any additional warnings could be possible. There's a little something going on right here in Kentucky, but that's north of us. To give you an idea of what we're dealing with, though, we do still have the severe thunderstorm watch in effect for West Tennessee, northern Mississippi. This is going to go until 2 p.m., but I think these storms are going to be out of here well before then. Riley, you've got a great image of the setup of this system and really what's prompting all this. You want to talk about it?
Yeah, neat. In fact, they ended up issuing a severe thunderstorm watch for areas like Nashville. So based off of how this system has been performing, that area of most unstable atmosphere is starting to make its way out of the Mid-South, but this is what we are looking at right now. If we could take it full, the cold front moving through that's bringing some of the storms is pushing its way through the area. Notice they've cut back on that severe thunderstorm watch as you head to the west of the Mississippi River. But we are seeing a lot of that area of most unstable atmosphere is starting to get a little farther ahead of where the storms are right now. So that's an encouraging trend basically for northern Mississippi. It's going to show that that prime atmosphere, the potential for severe weather likely has passed its peak across a good portion of the area, but we're still watching just for the next couple of hours what we are seeing within northern Mississippi as we get the last bit of this line to go through. But a quick outlook just for the next couple of days here. As we head into Sunday, that front, it moves all the way through. We're talking about cooler and drier weather in the forecast as we get a little bit more of a northerly influence from the winds. I think for Sunday afternoon plans, we're going to be dealing with a little bit more of that clear sky towards the end of the day after starting off cloudy. But once again, we're going to be watching for the chance for some more scattered storms in the forecast Monday. And for everybody watching, we are watching Wednesday's trends very closely for the next chance for some severe weather. But as for what we are seeing right now, we're still watching very closely, especially areas like Lafayette County, Oxford, as we get some of these storms to start bubbling up in northern Mississippi and start to expand a little bit more. We're going to be watching for trends in storm coverage, but we're not seeing any indication at this time right now of future warnings for parts of northern Mississippi. Of course, we got some time, Ron, to look out for that, but some encouraging trends at least within the past, let's say, half hour or so.
You on our digital platform this morning. This is a great opportunity for us to continue to track the storm without interrupting your regularly scheduled programming on NBC. So we're here right now on YouTube, on Facebook, on the Action News 5 Facebook page. We're also on the Action News 5 app on Amazon Fire, Roku, and on Apple TV. If you don't have those apps and you're watching us on another platform, I encourage you to download it to your streaming device. It's just a great tool to have. You can watch Action News 5 at any time, and especially when there's live coverage for events that are like this. Now, we've also been dealing with power outages in and around the area. I think we have the MLGW power outage map because there are power outages in and around the city of Memphis, and right now we're looking at 1,200 customers without power. So that's what we're dealing with right now. Ben, can we show that map a little better? Can we get a better view of the county itself? Where are there are the highest power outages. Look, you get right there around Millington. That's where, and that took out the radar this morning. You guys, Riley and Patrick, were on the air live this morning. The radar went down, lost power, the generator's not kicking on there. It's going to be interesting to see what's been going on up in Millington, but right now, I would venture to say that's where we saw the strongest winds in Shelby County. Riley, would that correlate with that? The higher power outages in that, and then the fact that it took out the radar itself, that's an indication that was packing a punch.
As it started to make its way inland from Shelby County, we started to see an uptick in the winds before that radar took the hit. But we also saw some of the stronger winds fall a little bit farther behind in southern portions of Shelby County. Northern portions of Shelby County saw the winds first, and the line kind of went from there. But what we've been seeing the past hour or so also is some rain that's continuing to move its way through parts of northern Mississippi. Again, areas like Bolivar over towards Selmer, this is where I think we're starting to see a reduction in the potential for any of that kind of severe weather. We're not looking primarily at Tennessee right now for the future severe weather risk, but if we take this full, we can see northern Mississippi still has a couple of our counties in our area that we are watching very closely. And areas like Lafayette County, you've been watching us, but you haven't seen much out there aside from just the warm, cloudy day that we've experienced before the storms in the entirety of the area. And temperatures have been cooling down as well. We've reached our highs around the sunrise time frame in the lower 70s, but now we're dealing with just some increasing storm chances in northern Mississippi, although we are not seeing any indications of severe weather at this time. You head along I-55 right now. It's going to be pouring along I-55 from southern portions of DeSoto County all the way down through Panola County in the short term. So it's really not the time to be driving on I-55 right now, Ron. That is something that can wait just about an hour or so.
And look, a lot of people get out and about. They do their chores, take care of their errands, and run their tasks on Saturday.
Yeah.
You're going to get some time later this afternoon. Let's let this line pass through, and I think it's going to be out of the area right around 1:30, 2 o'clock at the very latest, and that's how long the severe thunderstorm watch is going to go. But let the line pass. You don't want to be out and about, especially if you're ahead of this line and you're thinking, oh, everything's fine right now, because this is coming your way. That whole line is coming. And by the way, speaking of going, the Memphis International Airport has had some flight delays as a result of the storms moving through. Ben, do we still have that the flight delay map? Let's throw that up there, because look, we're headed into spring break. A lot of people may be trying to get away for this weekend, checking on flights. So let's see what the flight delays have done. We know we've had multiple power outages in and around the city of Memphis, Shelby County. These are some of the delays that are out there. As a matter of fact, a Delta flight to Atlanta canceled. I think I saw another canceled flight. Not sure if that's due to issues in Atlanta or here, what that may be, but some of the flights, looks like many are on time, but now they're the Dallas-Fort Worth, and look, this has been coming out of the west. That has now been pushed back a little bit. Overall, nothing significant there other than just a couple of flight delays. So, yeah.
They're still trying to clean up from yesterday's storm in Atlanta, so they have had a
That's-
lot of the delays today.
Okay.
Cancellations. So some of that may have been proliferated from storms in Atlanta yesterday.
Patrick Ellis telling me about the storms yesterday in Atlanta, so they're still dealing with issues at Hartsfield International Airport there, and that's likely contributing to what we're seeing here. I want to go back to the scene on Gibbon Street and North Holmes. Do we still have our shot up there? I do believe we now have confirmation of a fatality on that street as a result of a tree down on a home. Guys, do we have that? Let's take that live shot and see what it's looking like right now. This is all right. Okay, so police are telling us that at 10:36 they took a call on Gibbon Avenue. Police, first responders arrive to one fatality on scene. There is no indication of foul play, and right now it has not been confirmed that it is weather related. But Ben, and Ben is our producer I'm talking to, we do have confirmation that there was a tree down on a home there, am I right? Okay, so the tree down in the home, and there is a fatality at that home, and you see the first responders there right now. Do we have video of the tree itself? Let's see that image, and there, it's kind of tough to see. Yeah, you can see that is a big tree, and look, you get into that part of, that is right there at North Holmes and Gibbon Street. Folks that live around there, or anybody in and around that part of the city, East Memphis, knows how wooded it is. You get some strong gusting winds. Riley, what was the highest wind gust we had recorded? Do you recall as that was coming through? Looked like
Any
it was
official?
about 40.
I haven't seen any official reports of gusts, but what I had been seeing throughout the morning was radar estimates, and especially parts of the area. It was upwards of 40 in Shelby County, farther north a little bit higher than that. But of course, our radar estimates, they don't really tell us what's actually going on the ground exactly to the mile per hour. But one thing I do want to talk about right now is a special weather statement that's been issued that's including Panola County in Mississippi. This is for the potential of winds up to 40 miles per hour, and that is approaching I-55. So areas like Sardis, Batesville, along I-55 in northern Mississippi, we want to watch this very closely because it's coming along with very heavy rain. It's coming along with lightning, and if we time it out here, if it is moving to the east at around what we are hearing around 40 miles per hour, we'll just take this for Panola County. We'll move it towards the east around 40 miles per hour. So areas like Batesville, we have about 10 to 13 minutes for areas like Batesville, Sardis, about 10 minutes here before we get this, what you almost call the storm, really. I was thinking about the wall of wind. It's at this point just areas of wind that'll be moving into areas like Sardis, Batesville within the next 10 to 15 minutes. That's also when it gets towards I-55 in Panola County. Then down the line, areas like Oxford, if it continues at this current speed, we are talking about it getting to Oxford around 50 minutes from now. So that's when it'll be moving through parts of Lafayette County, Ron. But we are talking about some heavy winds with this. Again, anytime you see these pinks, these reds, that indicates where that burst of heavy wind is. And then, I mean, you head farther back, we're talking about some pretty steady to heavy rain behind this that just will not come along with that severe weather threat.
You know, it seems like that portion of the line is lagging a little bit as well.
Yeah.
We had a little more general speed for the whole line itself. This portion of it along and north of the Mississippi-Tennessee state line is making a beeline quickly towards the Tennessee River. Still just now making its way into Hardeman County, McNairy County, but this line right here to the south, and that's an indication, Riley, there may be a pretty significant wind that's just kind of blocking that as well. Now, we've got a big ridge of high pressure that's sitting off the eastern seaboard, and I know that seems like it's a long way away, but that too can still influence the movement of storms, and it can also have an impact on the speed that these storms are allowed to hit. You've got a great picture of it right there. So the cold front itself is forcing it, the northern portion of it, but you can see, can you put links behind me? Can you guys put links behind me? And I want to point out something that Riley is showing. This is the satellite and radar imagery. I guess we can't show that to you right now, but there is there's a stalled portion of the front itself as it gets back into southern Arkansas.
And Ron, if you advance, you may be able to get links to the map
let me
system.
do that.
Yeah.
So here we go. So that portion of the line itself, it's just kind of becoming stationary. In other words, this cold front, or this portion of the line, it's continuing to move off to east. There's no blocking mechanism there. But I think the high pressure that's off the Georgia coast down there, it's out in the Atlantic over the Bahamas, but it may be creating some issues in stalling this along with that strong southerly flow that's in advance of it. So this portion of the line moving a little slower than the northern segment of that line. That's going to take that on into Middle Tennessee. And Riley, we may still be dealing with this into northeast Mississippi as that's pushing into Middle Tennessee.
Yeah, and right now I think it's slowing down. It lowers the potential intensity of the storms for now, but it means, like you said, the longer duration of having to watch for the potential for, some kind of atmospheric condition to come just right to bring a stronger storm to the area. So again, that's what we're looking and zooming out. Like Ron said, there's the high over off the southeast coast, I should say, that's, trying to help keep this a little bit slower in northern Mississippi compared to where it's been in Tennessee. But overall, if we, just switch back here to what we are seeing, the heaviest of the rain is now pushing farther to the east, regardless of where you are. And again, the very, very heavy rain about to move through areas like Senatobia, Sardis. This is going to be making for quite the drive on I-55 over the next couple of minutes here, really in the next hour. And we are talking about one thing I just have noticed with everything, the storms are starting to develop a little bit farther to the south. So we are starting to get a little bit more of that storm development in areas like Clarksdale, and that's going to continue into other parts of northern Mississippi. But for our purposes, we're still focusing on that special weather statement for Panola County for the potential for 40-mile-per-hour winds as we go right within this part of the thunderstorm. That is the strongest part in the Mid-South right now, but Holly Springs is another area getting in on some very heavy rain, thunder, and lightning. This is going to be the peak of the weather event for Holly Springs within the next couple minutes.
Yeah, and you know, Riley talks about that little area down there that is in northern Mississippi. There is still a lot of activity or a lot of energy there for it to work with. I think that leading edge, though, that's going to be the greater probability for any significant development. And right now, just taking a quick look at the lightning itself, that's still packing a punch or producing some significant lightning strikes, 89 strikes of lightning right there. And just to the south and west of it, those are the storms you were talking about, Riley, coming towards Coahoma County. Look at that, about 165 strikes of lightning in there. Lightning's a great indicator as to whether a storm is weakening or intensifying. You see that count go up, you know it's intensifying. You see it go down, it's weakening, but really it's holding steady. And I think the big reasoning for that is the fact that it's got a little energy right here to work with and continue to feed that main line, whereas the air mass here is a little more homogeneous. There's not as much instability here, even though we still have a watching effect for that area, but it's a little more benign, and as a result, there's not enough to really allow those storms to continue to fire up. But Riley, good observation here. And by the way, you have worked before in other markets where the radar has gone out. So you've had to literally drive while blind before. That's why you see the multiple radars we have right now. As I mentioned earlier, the National Weather Service radar in Millington is down. So we're having to rely on the Columbus radar. We're tapping into the Nashville radar, Little Rock, and Paducah. Not getting a great view, but at least we're able to give you a general overall view and still be able to tap into some of these storms. And I'm happy the Columbus radar is functioning nicely, especially as these storms are starting to come in there. And Riley, what is that about? That's not even 90 miles away from that radar site, I don't think. So we're in pretty good shape. Oh, you've got a great image of really what's feeding this. Check it out. Talk about those temperatures.
And this is why we've seen a cutback on that severe thunderstorm watch, because the rain has really cooled temperatures down as you head into eastern Arkansas. We're in the 50s in wind. We're in the 50s in Memphis now at 59 degrees. That's how heavy the rain has been. It just brought all the cold air from way above our heads. It's brought it down to the surface. But the area where we can still tap into a little bit of that humidity, a little bit of that warmth to try to get any kind of thunderstorms popping is in northern Mississippi right now. We take this graphic full, we can temperature. That's about 20 degrees warmer than what it is in Memphis, and that just goes to show the boundary of the frontal system and where we've seen that cooler air. But again, like you were saying, Ron, we're talking about, you know, that stretch from Clarksdale towards Oxford, even up towards Ripley and Selmer. That's where we still have that warm, humid atmosphere to tap into for the potential for any of these storms. And in terms of that severe thunderstorm watch, we are seeing it's still remaining in place for areas like Shelby County. That threat has diminished, but we have seen it expanded farther off to the east. So anybody that's driving along I-40 today to Nashville, it is not a good time to do so. That might be a better thing to do overnight tonight rather than right now, Ron.
Can we take this shot of downtown Memphis? I want to show you that. Riley talked about the rainfall still falling, the heavier precipitation to our south and east, but things a little more tranquil and calmer here in Memphis. And right now, this is downtown Memphis, and we're just dealing with rain. The severe weather threat has exited Memphis and Shelby County, but it is still an issue for parts of the Mid-South, especially our viewers in northern Mississippi. And so that's why we're walking you through this this morning on our digital platforms, just to give you a place to go to get weather information. So we want you to know that the First Alert Weather Team is here. And by the way, the entire team is here this morning. Riley and Patrick did an absolutely amazing job this morning. Eric Brill is in. He's already working on the forecast for what's coming our way. with another round of rain and thunderstorms that will likely impact the Mid-South for the beginning of next week. So another active pattern. I think tomorrow is looking pretty tranquil overall, and we'll get these storms out of here within the next hour or so. But really packing a punch early this morning. Again, the greatest issue we've had thus far from the storms coming through the area was the report of a tree down on a home and a fatality as a result. So I think we have a new image right now of that tree that came down on the home. Ben, do we have that we can pull that up and show you what we're talking about? This is a look of a tree that came down this morning as a result of a sudden gust of wind. Now, the highest gust we had here in Midtown was 28 miles per hour. But along that leading edge, that line that came through this morning, what was it, Riley, right around 9:45, 10 o'clock this morning?
Yeah, because we got up, we were ending the show and came right back on at 9:30.
Okay,
and that's when the warning started.
So
for
warning
tornadoes.
started about that time. And look, all it takes is a sudden gust of wind, and that can take down a tree. Now, a sustained wind at 40 miles per hour, trees can oftentimes survive that. But if you go from a light to calm wind to just a sudden burst of a 40-mile-an-hour gust, that will take down trees and tree limbs.
And we have, Ron, by the way.
The whole tree has been uprooted, and you can see the damage to the house there. Riley, go ahead.
That the Memphis radar up in Millington, that is now back up. It's starting to get its feed back going again.
Okay,
so that's something we'll be able to utilize in the short term. And right now, if we actually look at the first image that's come with that radar scan, we can see we have some heavy rain that's still moving its way through Bolivar. I mean, right now, Bolivar, that is some very heavy rain moving its way through the area. I mean, the heaviest rain right now looks to be really in Marshall County, Mississippi, Holly Springs. A lot of thunder and lightning coming along with that. And as we head down towards Panola County, this is an area that has seen that special weather statement out there. And that is showing us that we have some of that heavy lightning and thunder, along with the heavy rain that's just starting to approach its way towards I-55. So this is something we'll watch, and I'm going to track this out here because it is moving generally towards the east, and that's at about 40 miles per hour from our last little update there. But if we move this over, if it comes to neighborhoods like Oxford, whatever becomes of this, likely to move into the Oxford neighborhood around 12:30 this afternoon. One thing to note about this, though, is we have, again, like Ron has been saying, we're starting to see some things slow down in northern Mississippi. So it could take a little bit longer than this, but we always want to be prepared on the earlier side than the later side for when that rain comes through. But overall, a wide view of things. I know it's been a while since we've gotten a wide view from the Memphis radar site, and it is showing us we have even some of that steady rain continuing in Mississippi County, Arkansas, along I-40 from Little Rock to Memphis. I mean, it's pretty widespread rain right now. This is a washout of a Saturday kind of rain. When do we see the rain start to taper off? That'll be later on this evening as we approach sunset. We'll start to see this rain become a little bit more scattered in nature. Still a day you want to have the rain gear at least on standby as we head throughout the duration of the day. But once again, in terms of the leading edge of the storms with the heavy rain, the thunderstorms and thunder and lightning at this time. I mean, stretching from Bolivar down to Holly Springs, down through Panola County. And that is something, Ron, that we are going to be continuing to track. I know you've gotten yourself a little bit reset with the MAX system there. Yeah. So what are you seeing, Ron, especially as we got new radar images that are finally coming back into our systems?
Well, first of all, let me bring everybody up to speed on the severe thunderstorm watch itself. Remains until 2 o'clock this afternoon. West Tennessee, it does include all the counties in the Action News 5 coverage area, but it's been extended east into Middle Tennessee. That's going to end a little later in the afternoon, but for our coverage area, this is going to go until 2. Then, northern Mississippi, still under the severe thunderstorm watch, and right now, I do believe Tunica, Coahoma County, I think you're in pretty good shape. We're still watching some of the cells that are coming out of the southwest there, but Tunica County, DeSoto County, I think you're pretty much in the clear. And again, Shelby, Tipton, Lauderdale, Dyer County, your threat for severe weather is over, and here's why. That whole line is now moving off to the east. And as we take a closer look, we've now got that Memphis radar back up and running. The most intense area is going to be right here. Let me put some tools on here and we'll point out a couple of areas for you. So right here along this leading edge, that's where we could see a little something fire up. I'm going to keep a close eye right down here for anything that may come out of the southwest. But I do believe this atmosphere south of 40 in eastern Arkansas is becoming much more stable now, as we've gotten a pretty good amount of rainfall there. But there's still some untapped atmosphere that's right here around Lafayette County, Panola County. You're still dealing with a little activity as well, or the potential for some activity. And right now, nothing ominous on there. That's good news. But this little area right here, check this out, Riley. There is a little area, there's somewhat of a notch trying to come into play there. There's a little bit of a seemingly bowing segment right here. That could create some straight line wind, especially into southeastern Marshall County. As a matter of fact, let me put a track on this and just give you an idea.
Yeah, and generally it's about 15 to 20 miles per hour at this point with the slowing
Is that
down.
how fast it's moving?
Yes.
It's that slow?
Yeah, it's slowed down quite a bit.
So I may be overperforming on this just a bit. So 11:53 into Higdon, Lake Center at 12 o'clock, Malone 12:05, Potts Camp 12:08. Bethlehem 12:16, Hickory Flat 12:21, 12:23 into Wittentown, and then 12:31 it's going to get on into Blue Mountain. So, and with that slowing down, Riley, that significantly increases the potential for flooding.
Yeah.
So let me show you the rainfall rates just within that little line itself. So right there around Holly Springs, check that out. Guys, bring me back up full. Here we go. Check that out right there around Holly Springs, south of Highway 22. It's coming down at more than 2.5 inches per hour. You get right there south of Highway 72 in northeastern Marshall County. It's coming down at just under 3.5 inches per hour. And then we've got some significant downpours in northern Panola County, 3.25 inches per hour. That's west of 55, and all that's yet to make its way through. So we've got a lot of very heavy rain that's going to continue to push off to the east and southeast. So really the threat for flooding now comes into play. I want to check out spectrum width. This gives us an idea of turbulence. There could be some pretty significant wind right there along the leading edge coming on through Holly Springs right now, and right here along this edge right here. Turbulence, basically spectrum width, or the turbulence, it's cold air rising, or warm air rising, cold air sinking in close proximity. And whenever you see something like that, that's telling us there's a broad scale, just windy conditions taking place there. And also, because the rain is so heavy, it's bringing down a column of air from the mid and upper levels of the atmosphere with it, so that can contribute to the potential for some wind damage. But the good news is I don't see anything that is concerning, at least in the way of rotation.
No, and even that special weather statement for Panola County allowed to expire in 7 minutes, not seeing any re-intensification at this time, Ron. However, we'll be watching closely just because of the fact we have this heavy rain making its way through the area, and we see it's expanding its territory into northern Mississippi, Oxford and Lafayette County. This is one area we really haven't seen much rainfall yet, including out as you head towards Benton County, Tennessee, as you head towards Alcorn County. These are areas that we're still waiting on that line, but we're getting ready for the final bit of our area to see this rainfall, the opportunity for some severe weather. We just read the discussion from the National Weather Service. It still exists with some moderate wind shear, and those are all kind of things that can allow for some severe weather, but most of that is going to transfer its way towards northeastern Mississippi, and we're getting towards the tail end of the severe weather threat, at least within the Mid-South's viewing area here, Ron. So at least we're starting to see the tail end of it. Of course, areas like Oxford up towards Corinth, Selmer, just keep an eye for the next hour or so, but we are seeing improving conditions for the rest of the region, and no active special weather statements that show the potential for winds up of 40 miles per hour, and we certainly don't have any severe warnings at this time. So that is some good news, and we'll continue to be allowed to trim back on this severe thunderstorm watch as the next couple of hours go by. This afternoon, we'll be looking at improving conditions, but rain lingering a little bit longer.
Yeah, and I tell you what, and it's been about an hour now, about right at an hour and 5 minutes. We've not seen any additional warnings issued. No indication from the National Weather Service that any additional warnings are coming. That special weather statement Riley was talking about, oftentimes when a storm is coming through and it's packing some wind, some heavy rain, maybe some small hail, not worthy of a severe thunderstorm warning, the National Weather Service will issue a special weather statement. Well, we had that one cell that was coming on through. That special weather statement has been now allowed to expire. We're dealing with rain in and around the area. So I tell you what, let's take the next couple of minutes. We're going to wrap it up at the top of the hour. But Riley, I want you to just basically, you and Patrick were here this morning tracking this system. Patrick's still hanging out at the television station as well. What notable, as this was coming on through, was there anything notable that caught your eye? Patrick, come on over here with me too, because I got to give you guys kudos. You and Riley were absolutely wonderful today. And by the way, Riley is our newest member of the Action News 5 First Alert Weather
you want me to come
team.
over here?
Come on over here. Come to the shot with me, because Riley, and can you put us in a two box? Because you guys worked this morning and you did a stellar job. I sprung out of bed, turned on the TV, and there you guys were. But what was noticeable as this was coming through and those tornado warnings started popping up?
Really, we only had the one tornado warning. And we were sitting here and we were about to, the last warning had come up and we're like, okay, well, let's just hold here until 10 o'clock. There was a little kink along that line. We looked at the First Alert Precision Tracker and I said, let's look at that shear rate. And the shear rate showed that little S shape. We know internally it's like that has a tendency to want to drop down a brief tornado. I said, let's just hold here because I have a sneaking suspicion that might be the case. And then 5 minutes later, the Weather Service caught on to it. But we told people, gave them the first alert first off saying, hey, this may be something, you need to be prepared for it, and told them where it was, and then 5 minutes later, tornado warning.
Yeah, because this all started too with those two severe thunderstorm warnings. The one was for far northern Poinsett County, Arkansas, and the one for northern Mississippi County, Arkansas. Those cells started to merge, and with that ongoing process, we saw quite a few kinks, and the one that ended up issuing that tornado warning, of course, no confirmation at this time whether or not we saw any confirmed tornado from that, but that ended up northern portion of Shelby County and southern portion of Tipton County, and that's something that we were tracking. And then really the straight line wind damage. It's something that goes, gets swept under the rug by a lot of people, but I think we saw quite a bit of impact from that straight line wind damage over the course of this morning.
Well, we do have a tree down on a home. We now have confirmation of a fatality in that home. We're still waiting to get the official confirmation that it was the result of that. Than, as a matter of fact, we've got a photographer out there right now. You guys were on this as it was coming through. Let's throw that image up. There's the tree. That was, what time was that stronger wind coming through Memphis and Shelby County, Patrick?
When that came through, probably was just after 10 o'clock this morning?
Just after around 10:30,
10:30, somewhere in there.
That's when I sprung out of bed.
10:36
so it's
is
right
what
around
Ben just
just before 10:30.
Yeah, so I guess the call came in at 10:36 for this particular situation, and of course, probably happening within the 5 minutes before that. So, right around 10:30 this morning, that's what we were dealing with. Of course, strong winds moving through here. You see the whole root. The root ball kind of coming up. So it wasn't the top of the tree coming over. It was the whole tree coming down, which, it could be a couple of reasons why, we clocked a 28-mile-an-hour wind gust here at Memphis at the station. But, down the road, this is not terribly far away, as far as the crow flies, maybe 3 miles, 4 miles away. That was a different scenario in places like Nutbush, Grahamwood, Highland Heights area. So that area up there in northeastern portions of the city of Memphis up towards Raleigh and Bartlett also catching some pretty strong winds too. Definitely, you didn't have to go very far to run into something completely different. A neighborhood not terribly far away from us, seeing something like that here. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see more like that. We did get a picture, or I've seen a picture of some rotation a lowering of the clouds up in Atoka, which would go back to that tornado warning originally when it was.
And we had that one storm spotter report there of that at least some kind of funnel cloud or rotation.
It was near Atoka Elementary. So
near the elementary. And actually, we just got in now from DeSoto County Emergency Management. They have a little bit of a damage update that we can provide here as well. With an isolated pocket of winds, they're saying it knocked down some fences. That was around Craft Road, and that's north of the Lewisburg Schools area. Also, tree down Pleasant Hill and Laughter, resulting in a power outage, but there's no issues outside of the rainfall for them to report, at least.
And I think that came from as the storm was moving through eastern DeSoto County. So this was probably within the last hour or so, probably in the 11 o'clock hour as that storm was moving down there towards Lewisburg and Olive Branch. So Craft Road, just north of the Lewisburg schools there off of 269. That's where we had that new report that just came in.
Well, you guys were right on top of it this morning. I felt that wind coming through because I was in close proximity. I live in East Memphis, and the house shook. And that's really what kind of woke me up early
jostled you this morning.
So yeah, so even though we only had that 28-mile-an-hour wind gust here at the station, it varied along the line. And I think that is a lesson to everybody, that whenever something like this comes through, even though it may not seem like it's anything significant where you are, in other areas along that line, it can really, really be causing
and that's
big
why,
problems.
too, when we're showing the estimated winds by radar standards, I mean, we're missing the very localized pockets where the strongest severe level winds do show through, and we clearly had some severe impacts across the Mid-South today.
And that was probably about the same time we lost the radar data, too.
Yeah.
About that same time frame. So, you know, we were trying to hop back and forth between that, and it was hard to really see that. We're trying to get it from the terminal radar down in Hernando.
Yeah.
And it was hard to even keep that radar data going because it was spinning at a, you know, and that one actually gets us even quicker data. Oddly enough, that actually gets us like a minute data. But the problem is that it just was dropping every single time. So it would come up, come down. We were having issues on all the radars this morning. Now we're back up. Everything's running back on normal power after everything's kind of calmed down here. But yeah, very active morning from that perspective here. Thankfully, you know, we didn't have widespread issues, but unfortunately now we have a report. We at least know that of one fatality that's occurred. We don't know specifically if it was due to the weather, but it seems like it could have been.
Yeah, you see that tree on that house and the damage.
Yeah.
And look, people were sleeping this morning. You know, it's
I would like
coming
to
on
be
through.
asleep too.
And that it's a Saturday. You know, it's going to be a rainy day. You sleep in. Tree comes down, you're not prepared for it. So our hearts go out to this to the family of this person. We're going to bring more info as the day goes on. But I tell you what, you guys did a stellar job. We're going to continue to track this and just watch it. But I think we can get off our streaming platforms right now.
We're pretty close to the end with all this getting through here. Probably another hour or so.
Yeah, I think this is going to be out. We'll get this through McNairy County within the next 30 minutes or so. Alcorn, Tippah County, that's coming on through Benton County right now. So you're about another probably 45 minutes away. And then we'll get this out of here within, as a matter of fact, let me just put a quick track on here, and I'll track it from 22 down through Lafayette County to give you an idea. So this should be moving through Potts Camp, 1216, Oxford, 1221, 1244 into Ripley, Bluff at 1254, New Albany at 1 o'clock, Ecru at 114, Boonville at 130, and Saltillo at about 146. And then for this little area that's coming out of Hardeman County on through McNairy County, that's going to get into Walnut at about 1211, Bethel Springs 1219, Selmer 1226, Eastview at 1238, Morris Chapel 1239, 1253 into Corinth, and then 1257 should move into Savannah, Clifton at about 112. So that's a look at the big picture right now. Let me clear all of this out of here. We'll put the loop on this, and you can see that activity just now pushing on out and exiting the Action News 5 coverage area. No severe warnings. The watch remains in effect technically until 2 o'clock. I think we're going to see more counties drop from this now as that line continues to progress farther east. But we're going to continue to watch it. We'll let you get back to whatever you may be doing on your Saturday. I do want to encourage you to get the Action News 5 First Alert weather apps. Put it on your smartphone or your tablet. It's free for Apple and Android products, and it is a great tool. And should any warnings be issued for the activity that's continuing to push through, you're going to get your first alert right there on your phone or your tablet. You can go to your app store and search Action News 5 First Alert. You'll find it, and again, it is a free download, and it's going to help you get through all of the activity that is coming through today. And now, look at this. New info just came in. Shelby, Tipton, Lauderdale, Dyer, Crockett, Haywood County, you've been removed from the watch. DeSoto County, Tunica County, this is just what we were talking about. That line's now starting to show some signs of weakening significantly. Good news there, and we're dealing primarily with just heavy rain coming through the area. No active warnings, but things are, we don't want to completely let our guard down, but things are looking much better. So we're going to wrap it up here on our digital platforms. Thank you for joining us this morning. Should any warnings be issued, we'll jump back on and we'll bring them to you on the air, on the web, and of course on the First Alert Weather app. For meteorologist Patrick Ellis, for Riley Winch, and Eric Brill. He's hanging out in the background right now. If there's a storm, he's going to be here, and the First Alert Weather team will be to get you through it. I'm meteorologist Ron Childers. Have a good Saturday morning. Stay weather aware. We'll see you on Action News 5 at 5, 6, and 10.